Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Chris, and I went to TIFF 2024 earlier this week to see a couple of movies, and I thought I'd just give you my quick reviews about them. And last but not least, we have Megalopolis. I'll quickly show that this was Giancarlo, Natalie Emmanuel, Adam Driver, Francis Ford here for the Q&A. I don't know how to describe this movie. There's barely a plot. I like Francis Ford movies. Obviously, his classics are amongst my favorite films. But this one was bizarre. This one is definitely a little bit of the ramblings of an old man, a little bit. It definitely, and I'm not joking when I say this, it feels like a Tommy Wiseau movie almost, but in a good way. Like we were, watching the first, half an hour, 45 minutes, you're kind of just like, what is this movie? What is this tone? And then eventually it kind of hits that point where you're like, okay, this is goofy. A lot of the people in the audience were giggling at certain points. This is the only movie I've been to in TIFF. In all my years of going to TIFF, I always see at least one or two movies every year in TIFF, and this is my most high-profile movie I've seen at TIFF, where people were actively walking out of it. It is definitely not for everyone. The guys next to me at the screening, I think were smoking a little something, and I think if I was on their level, I would have appreciated this movie a lot more. Like I said, it's like a Tommy Wiseau movie mixed with a hair of Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet a little bit. But everyone's taking their roles very seriously. Adam Driver does great with what he's giving. He's always good. Love Adam Driver as an actor. Giancarlo, again, also very good. All the actors across the board are great with what they're given. Aubrey Plaza and Shia LaBeouf seem to be the only two actors in the movie who kind of know what movie they're in. But outside of that, very bizarre movie. There is a line somewhere in the movie. This is kind of how out there and weird the movie gets. It's not spoiling for the plot because also there's barely a plot. But there's a line towards the end of the movie where a character says, "Check out my big boner." And that might not be verbatim, but they do use the word boner. And so that's kind of what the weird spots this movie goes to. I think visually there's some great stuff in here. There's a couple of sequences that I thought looked really nice. But there are big chunks of this movie where it looks like actors acting on green screen. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think this is a bizarre movie. I think the best way to view this movie would be to maybe get some drinks, be with some friends. Similar vibe to how you would watch The Room. You get a room full of people who are kind of in on the joke. You maybe have a little bit of a little bit of cannabis, a little bit of alcohol, and enjoy this kind of silly movie. But yeah, definitely not going to be for everyone. Definitely a weird spot in Francis Ford's filmography. But let's face it, he's done some weird movies in the past, so it's not totally off the cuff for him, but it's definitely not for everyone, that's for sure. And it definitely doesn't feel, put it this way, for a movie that cost $120 million, it didn't feel like it cost $120 million. I imagine a lot of the money went to the talent that you're seeing here, because there's a lot of famous people in this movie. But there are times where there are some nice visuals, and there are a lot of times where it looks like it's just actors acting against green screen, and it is bizarre.